YouTube, I'm BC. Today I'm making another video for you guys. Today's video is actually going to be the announcement of my next contest. So I hope you guys have been looking forward to it. Now it's here. So with that, I'll announce the theme of this contest. The theme of this contest is, drumroll please, flying. So I realized that last time when I did the contest I made it way too specific and you guys didn't really know what to do with it because it was too abstract, too specific. And this time I wanted to make it more general so that more people could participate and hopefully it'll be more fun for you guys. So for as far as following the theme, you could go very many directions with this. I imagine most of you will probably put in some sort of game mechanic that involves flying, but you don't have to. You could I don't know, make it tied into storyline somehow. Maybe the main character really wants to fly, and that's maybe he's striving to reach that the whole time. Maybe you can make it a top-down game that's in space, and you can say, hey, that's flying, it's in space. Or maybe the character can't fly, but all the platforms are floating in the air flying. I don't know, there's so many directions you can go with this. It may even be hard to think of a way to make a game that's not following it. So flying is a theme. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it more than the last one. Alright, so now let me go ahead and tell you how I'm going to be grading the game that you submit. So there are varying levels of grading, things I find more important, things I find less important. The thing I find most important is originality. How creative can you be with the concept? I said when I introduced this video that you could go many different directions, but what I want to see is for you to do something with it that I don't expect. I want you to find some new way to use it that makes a fun game that's interesting. So that's my number one rating: how original it is and how new and creative your idea is. So the second highest thing that I'm going to be rating on is the design of the game. So this is how smoothly it plays, how the levels are laid out, the whole way the game mechanics are organized. Basically, like the game design in a nutshell. Just how well does the game play? Is it fun and that sort of thing. That's the second thing we're rating on, design of it, because in some ways, when you're making a game, that's one of the most important things, to make it fun, to make it playable, like that. So the design of the game is the second thing. Third is going to be graphics. That's the general look of the game. Now this doesn't mean that you have to use extremely high definition graphics, go through and design every sprite in Photoshop with like some insane resolution. What I'm saying is, like, I want to see how much effort you put into the look of the game. So maybe if you added particle effects, that's an extra feature to the look that made it look nice. And I want to see how well the look of the game, how well it fits together, how graphically visually appealing it is, I guess. So it doesn't need to be complicated. It could be a minimalist style. Even with minimalist style, you can make it in a way that it's the way it looks nice. So that's the third one. So originality, design, and graphics. Those are my three criteria I'll be grading on. And one more thing I like to point out is to be very careful about bugs, because no matter how original it is or how good the game's designed, a couple of bad bugs could really hurt it. So I want you to be really careful of that. And when you're making games for professionally or whatever, that's also very important. One bug will stand out more than 10 cool features. So I want you to put in extra time to try and really fix those bugs. So, that's somewhere to look out for negative grading points. So for the prizes, I basically went on Steam and looked through the indie game section and chose out some games that I thought looked interesting. The first of those games is Cairo. Alright? So that's a big open world that's filled with geometric shapes and some puzzles. And I looked at it and I thought this seemed like a game that I would really like. I like the look of the world, how it's laid out, and I didn't really get a look at any of the puzzles, but just that type of game where you're exploring a world and you have to play through puzzles to progress further. This sounds like a really fun game, and the game looks good. So Cairo is the first game. The second game is Chivalry. Now this is in the Middle Ages, and you play as a knight, and it's sort of a hack and slash game where you play with. It's a multiplayer game, so you play with other players, and you just go through team battles and that kind of stuff. So this game, I haven't played it either, but I've seen this game on YouTube. A lot of YouTubers have been playing this game, and it seems like and they seem to think it's really fun. So it must be a pretty cool game. I'm not sure it's my type of game, but a lot of people really like this game, so you might like this game too. The third game is Dust, an Elysian Tale. So this is a platformer game where this is a 2D platformer game, and apparently all of those images are hand drawn, and the art style I thought just looked really interesting. So that's the reason why I picked Dust and Elysian Tale. I thought it looked like a really interesting looking game, so I thought I might like it. So those are the 3 games to choose from. The way this is going to work is first place is going to get the first pick on these 3 games. Second place, second pick. Third place, whatever's left, I guess. And that's how it's going to work. That's how it's going to work with giving out the prizes. And then once the winners have been announced, I'll contact you and ask you for your Steam name. Then I'll send it to you as a gift. Okay, so that's all the information on how the contest can be set up. So the due date is going to be August 1st, 2013. So this will give you a little more than 2 months to complete the game, which will be more than enough to make a decent game. And once you have it ready, you can email it to me at apc@synforge.co. And in that email, you're going to attach the game. I don't know if you made it in Game Maker, you would I guess I would like if you compiled it and you can put that in a zip file and send it to me, or you can send me the GMK, whatever. Just make sure the game gets in there somehow. And then in addition to that, I want you to tell me your preferable name for the when I announce the games. I want you to tell me which name you want me to address you as, and then so that could be your real name or YouTube username, gamer tag, whatever. And then next, when I make the announcement video, I plan on having a link in the description with links to all of your games so everybody can play them. That's what I did previously. So if you don't want me to do that for your game, if you want to keep it to yourself or delay release for a little while, then tell me that in the email. If you don't tell me in the email, I'll assume that's okay, but otherwise please be sure to let me know whether you want me to include it or not in the description. So those are 2 things in the email. First off, your preferable name. Second off, if you don't want me to have a description, let me know so I can act accordingly. When I make the announcement video, the way I usually do that is I try to talk about each and every one of your games individually, and I'll tell you what I felt like the pros and cons were, and then at the end I'll tell you the top 3, and that'll be how that will work. I should be able to talk about all your games, but I don't know how many submissions there are going to be. So if there are like a ton of submissions, I'll have to narrow it down somehow. But otherwise, you'll probably be able to have a review of your game in the announcement video. So even if you don't feel like you did too well in the competition, you can still look forward to that, I guess. To finish up this video, I'll just tell you guys some of the details of the contest, because last time I made a contest, I got a lot of questions from everybody about some specifics. So I'll go through some of the ones I asked last time, and if you guys have more, go ahead and ask them, and I'll keep frequently asked questions up to date in the description, so you can go there for the most up-to-date information on what you can and can't do. So first off, you can use any language or program. So you can use GameMaker, you can use Java, you can use C++, you can use HTML if you can figure out a way to make a game in HTML. So whatever you feel most comfortable with is what you can use. And if it's something weird, just tell me how to get it on my computer. I'm sure I can figure it out. And then some other people have asked, do I have to make everything in the game? The game has to be your creation. What I mean by that is it has to be your game. So you can use other stuff as long as it gets to the extent where you import so much stuff that you're basically sending me a game that's already made. Does that make sense? So I'm pretty much saying you can use whatever you want, just make sure you don't take so much that you basically give me a pre-made game. So you can download sounds and that kind of stuff, you can download pre-made images, you can get a pre-made engine and build off that. That's fine. But like something I don't want to do, like for example, if you watch my Space Invaders tutorial and you just make Space Invaders game from that and then submit it, that's not what I'm going for. You could watch my Space Invaders tutorial and use that as a section of the game, or build on it significantly to make it more your creation, but I don't want you to just downright copy something. So that's my rule on the whether you can use external stuff, other stuff. Next, you may work with multiple people. In most cases, this probably doesn't help you, because once you get more than 2 or 3 people, it gets really unorganized, and I know this from experience. The only exception to this trend would be if you have some sort of more professional setup where you have a team that you're working with a long time. I may make an exception to that rule if that scenario comes along, But for the most part, I don't think that working with multiple people is going to give you any sort of advantage. So you feel free to work with as many people as you want. Do not enter a game you made already. The game you make is made between the time you saw this video and the announcement video, or the deadline. That's another thing that I want to make clear. And lastly, don't ask me any questions about the game. Well, you can ask me questions about how the contest is set up, but don't ask me programming questions about how can you do this. Usually I'm happy to answer those, but I feel like if I answer them and you use that in your game, I'm giving you an unfair advantage, so I don't want to do that for this competition. Feel free to ask other people you watch who make game tutorials and that sort of thing. You can ask them for helps and details, or you can ask around on forums and that kind of stuff. That's fine, just don't ask me, because I don't want to give anybody an advantage. And that's everything there is about this competition. So August 1st is the deadline. Email it to apc@synforge.co, and if you have any more questions about how the competition is set up, leave a comment. I'll have an ongoing frequently asked questions updated in the description. So that's that. I look forward to seeing your entries. I'll see you guys then.